As you're settling back into the body releasing, body relaxing. The energy of today feels very much just like a simple energy of release. This can be release of emotions. Oftentimes there's a lot of things bottled up that no matter how much you work on it, there's still a little bit left over. It's kind of like if you've ever had a bottle that was once for cranberry juice and then, you started using it as a water bottle for a while, and it takes many times through before that taste of cranberry starts to go away. It's kind of like that residual energy. And so that release that we're building up to, that can be something that we've been working on for a long time, and there's still some of that residual energy. And so the idea is to have patience with it, to trust that as we keep on doing our thing, filling up our cup, and just doing the healthy things. We know what they are, the self-care things. We have this trust that eventually our bottle will be clean, all that residual energy will have worked itself out because we learned whatever it was that we needed to learn from it. And so that's the idea of release that we're playing with. We'll release on especially a lot of the areas that chronically tend to be tight in our bodies. So areas like neck, shoulders, back, tight legs, those kinds of things. And so with this idea to lead us on, let's take some of our nice initial stretches. The arms stretch all the way to the back wall. Allow shoulders to wiggle to right and left. Easy cycles back and forth. Feel how the breath is starting to flow, even more deeply maybe than it has all day so far. And when we're back through center, hug around right knee. Maybe some ankle rolls for right foot. Make sure to take ankle rolls to both clockwise and counterclockwise directions. That's kind of like that swishing energy. Once you fill up a water bottle, you kind of have to shake it out a little bit. So that's like that loosening up of the ankle. When you're ready to lengthen hamstring up to sky, let it rise, grab on, pull it in a nice way. Just sending some good breaths right there. Huge inhales, nice exhales. Take one more breath for this side. And then take it to the hip opener, hooking right foot on back left. Give that first hip a couple of good breaths. Feel any release that's willing to happen from this side. One more good inhale. Exhale, start to free out this leg. Maybe give it another tug up to sky before you drop it down. Good. Second knee comes into chest. Start some ankle rolls, clockwise and counterclockwise. And leg up to sky when you're ready. Feel it have a chance to stretch out. Does the side compare to the first? Sometimes the two are very different. Good, and let's head to the hip opener on this side. Look left heel to back right. Slide the shin in. Easy breaths. One more last inhale. Exhale. And as this leg starts to drop free, start to kick the feet free off the front, come up to a seated place. Let's head into the first inversion when we get there. So thumb slide to the back, lean halfway back, wide legs as you tilt backwards, and then ankles wrap around. Maybe set up your feet, so stand right behind it. Don't jump flat from your feet. Walk right up to it. Back just ahead. Your hands about as wide as hips. Push down like your body needs it. Heels on the move this, lock the door, and I'll show you back. You're going to come up to this mirror side front. You're finding the very end of the fabric. Wave it left and right so nothing's doubled over. And then hook your thumbs, turn to the mirror. And you're taking about half the fabric in your hands, about 5 grips. Back up under the metal pieces. Rise up to tippy toes. Slide it under your glutes. Yep, you got it. Okay. I'll show you how to get into this first inversion. Have you done aerial before?
At home.
Okay. You got it, just like that. There's just a handful of us still upside down, so let's give it just a hair longer, those that want to get upside down. Those that are up, feel free to let your neck roll left and right, loosening up some of the tightness there. Good, and starting to head up if you're not already. Sitting up nice and tall, let's bunch up fabric to front door side. Taking a little twist. So your shoulder that's closer to the back mountain painted wall, that arm opens up to the mountains, or circles around the back side of the head. Feel free to use as much arm strength as you need to help the spine feel good. This is really for those muscles in the back, helping them to open up quite a bit. Deep breaths. Nice inhale. Exhale. Now the hand that's on the fabric in front of you stays. The one that's behind you drapes across the other elbow. So it's like threading a needle. drape it across that elbow. Tilt the head toward the mirror. Just helping to ease a little bit of tension out of the neck. Helping that area find just a little bit more release. Good, one more inhale. Exhale, release head, release the cross of the arms. Bunch up fabric to back door. So same thing, stretch the arm, open up to mountain painted wall, or that hand can circle around the backside of head. How much does the head want to gaze to the wall behind you? Notice how that can encourage different muscles in the neck to stretch. Good. The hand that's behind you unwinds. Drape it across the other elbow. And then tilt the head toward mirror, or front of room. Inhale. Nice exhale. Unwind the neck, unwind the head. Arms to the outside of each end of the fabric. We're going to go like the inversion that we did just a moment ago. So take the fabric down to about where the pant line is. We're draping, wrapping the legs, the ankles around the two folds of fabric, but leave the left hand where it is. The right hand will come down to the mat and continue to walk its way toward mirror side. And then once you've got that happening, gaze away. So gaze to your left shoulder. Good. So take that right hand up to the right side, and then left hand drops to floor. Walk it to mirror side of mat, so to the space behind you, and then gaze forward to right shoulder area. Good, one more inhale. Exhale, both hands grab on, unwind the legs, gently popping back up. When we're up, clasp hands behind the back. Shift the hands over to right hip or right waist, and drop right ear to right shoulder. Try to deepen the breath into belly, especially after flipping back upright. Good, head back up, hands to the left hip or left waist, and then left ear to left shoulder. One more inhale. Exhale. Head easy up. Ungrip the hands and then grab onto each side of the fabric. That grip helps to lift the hips right up and out. Good. So from here, let's lower directly down to kneeling. As long as it's comfortable, we're sitting our feet back, our glutes back to the feet. If that's uncomfortable for any reason, you can go back down to cross-leg sitting. And what we're doing is taking the fabric around to the base of the neck. It's the part of the neck that touches up to the skull. Kind of place the fabric around that whole area like a headband. And then the head starts to lean back. Sometimes the neck needs some support, so you're welcome to leave hands there to kind of give you something that you can easily pull out of. But if it feels nice to have more length, to have gravity take over a little bit, maybe the hands droop down. So feel that deep release starting to happen in the neck area. Good easy breaths continuing to flow for us. Inhales, exhales. If we're gripping onto fabric, keep the grip. If not, maybe hands clasped together behind our back and start to lengthen away from glutes. Good. Another inhale, exhale. Everybody grabs onto left and right strands of fabric. Sit back up, unwinding the head. Fabric comes around in front of us. Let's come to a high kneeling place. So lock the arms straight. We're gripping about as wide as shoulders, if not slightly wider. Let the upper body come forward. And after that neck release that we just did, first start off with just the head draping forward. So it's like gravity is able to take over the neck in a slightly different arrangement. Maybe a slight rocking left and right of the head. Let's turn this into 3 cat-cows. So round the spine all the way up to the sky. We're curling the head in even more. And then belly drops down, gaze up. Good, a nice exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. One more round. Good. Drop left hand to floor, right hand slides to the center of the fabric. And then allow yourself to kind of lower your chest and your torso to the extent that feels good for that right shoulder. You need to bend the right elbow. That could allow you to go even deeper, maybe left elbow to floor. But don't force anything bad to happen in the shoulders. You're only kind of lowering and playing with it until you're in a really good shoulder opening, however high or low that is. Good. 2 more breaths for this side. And allow yourself to rise up to the extent that you can switch your hands out. So same types of qualities. If you had the hand and the fabric locked straight before, maybe play with that again. If you had it bent, or if your chest was trying to droop down a little more, maybe you take that quality again. One more good inhale. Exhale. Good. Softly roll the head back up. Both hands are gripping back on. As we lean back forward, let your body take a couple of moments to sway left and right, easing into the side ribs. Beautiful. Back through center, roll the spine up. Right foot steps in front. You can grip higher, or you can keep the same grip. We're lunging ourselves forward. So this could be arms locked straight. It could be closer, kind of whatever feels most useful to really sink to the space where you can feel the front of the left hip stretching. Try to make sure knees not going too far past toes. So if that's the case, scoot your foot a little further forward. Good. Tuck the back toes, lift up the back knee. Allow both legs to lock straight. And then lean both of your arms back to the space in front of you. Good, now 3 times slowly, go back and forth between leaning to this forward angle to mirror, and then leaning to the left. The feet don't necessarily have to adjust. Just feel how the hips play around with that femur in its socket as we're shifting around to the different angles. So eventually taking 2, and eventually taking cycle 3. Good. When you finish that third one, softly lower left knee back to floor and then right. Step left foot forward. You're stepping it far enough that when you sink your weight forward, you can feel that stretch across front of right. Arm. And then 3 gradual cycles back and forth between forward and to the right. Good. Eventually round 2. Three. Good. After that third cycle, this time, roll the spine all the way up to stand. Get the feet underneath you. We're slightly behind plumb line. If you need to shake your hands out for a moment, go right ahead. We've done quite a bit of gripping. Good. And so easy grip back on, a little bit wider than shoulders. From here, lean the upper body forward. And what we're going to do is engage just a little bit of arm strength. So imagine that you're doing a pull-up, but in this leaning forward position. So elbows, they're not to the sides. We pull the fabric in right under our chin, and then extend right back out straight in front of us. Nice exhale, pull it in under chin, and back out. Let's take another 6, and extend. 5, 4, 3, 2, the breath pumping with you, 1. Beautiful. Softly bend the knees, roll the spine up. Keep the hands just on the inside, but flip them open. From here, circle the hands around the outside of the fabric once, and then allow the fabric to fall into the thumb crease area. So it feels like 2 wraps, but it was really only mostly 1 wrap. So from here, allow the belly to really dip forward. A huge low back and heart arch. Gaze is still directly forward. If the knees need to be softly bent, that's okay. Take another 3 breaths right here. Beautiful. Soft bend in the knees. Roll the spine up. Free out the hands. And then this is going to be a grip from the outside. Higher grip will make this a little easier. Lower grip will make it harder because you're going to have to do a little bit more work. It's leaning backwards and then taking some pull-ups. So that's why higher grip is easier. If you wanted to get to the extent where you even are like completely flat underneath your plumb line, you can do that, but you don't have to. You can just be a nice, easy plank backwards, and then just some pull up and back. You choose the difficulty level. I like to do the exhale through the hardest part, so that's when we're trying to pull ourselves back up. Inhale to lean back. Exhale forward. Let's get to this point where we can do about 5 more. Deep breathing. And 4. 3. 2. And 1. Beautiful. Flip grip back to the inside. Take the fabric up to hip bones. I usually like to go on tippy toes so that way it doesn't get into my guts, but you're walking forward to take some slack out of the fabric. Bend forward at the waist, dropping hands to floor, and then a couple of steps back to bring us back under plump leg. So if down dog is intense enough today, just stay in down dog. If you'd like to try for wrapping both feet around the fabric, you need to go with toes wide to wrap around. Good. You got it. So by wrapping wide, from there you can walk arms forward, droop belly down, get into a shoulder stretch that way, or locking the arm straight, walk backwards. It's not quite a handstand, but it's kind of getting a little bit closer to that sensation. So whether you're a little bit more going for stretching or going a little bit more for that strengthening. If the low back feels tight, you can even sway the hips just a hair to the right and a hair to the left. Just make sure the feet are wrapped as long as the toes are both up. If you unwrap, drop the knees underneath the level of the hips. That way you don't slip out. Just like any inversion, you don't have to stay as long as anybody else. Keep on enjoying it as long as it's still pleasant. Coming out to our stargazer when you feel ready, but I'm not rushing you out. Still not a rush for those that are out. I'm just going to guide through a couple of arm stretches, those that have been out for a little while. From this normal stargazer shape, when you bend your right knee, you're going to lean to the right, drop the right hand down to the thigh, and then this left arm is going to reach really far to that right side of it. Give it a couple of breaths, feeling how each breath expands into that space right in between your muscles of the ribs. Good. Eventually straighten the right leg, bend the left knee, leaning to left, just drop left hand down, then it's the right arm that stretches really far over. A couple of breaths to breathe into the intercostal space, the inner muscles. of the ribs. Another huge inhale. Nice exhale. Gently return back up. Let both arms fall open. Let the head fall back. If you're kind of close to the back wall, step your feet just a little bit further forward. So pecs are open, shoulders are open. It's like the reverse shape of texting when you're kind of punched forward. This is the exact opposite. Letting everything loosen up. Finding this deep release. Feel even the space of the throat, that thyroid area, getting a good stretch. Just one more inhale. Nice exhale. Head can come back up. Let's walk our feet backwards to stand all the way up. Flipping fabric out in front of us. The spot that's the end that's closer to us, grab onto that and wave it out. That thing's doubled over in front of us. Good. Once you got it waved out, we're taking right leg to that fabric long wrap inside of it, essentially. So right leg's in. You can kind of peek at the fabric to know if you're too far behind plumb line. If everything's tilted toward you, that means you're too far back. So you want to get hopped right up to the spot where it's kind of just floating right underneath it. So for me, when I gaze up, it's maybe like 4 or 5 inches. My head is slightly behind plumb line. So once we're here, right leg wrapped, bring both arms in front of you inside of the fabric, bend the elbows, and the elbows push outward into the fabric to lift the leg up toward you and lean us forward toward the leg. We haven't done much with the hamstrings yet, so this is a good opportunity to get right into them. If this is not deep enough for you, you can also be kind of like a splits, sinking even more weight forward to mirror. Start to rise the torso back up. Leave the left arm as it is inside of the fabric. Right arm circles up. To stretch that wall behind you. Feel the chest open. Keep on pushing the left arm into the fabric. That gives us something to anchor against, to push against to help the spinal twist go even deeper. One more inhale. Nice exhale. Good. Torso back forward. We're gripping onto this kind of hypotenuse, long edge of the left side of fabric that's close to us. The right hand goes high, left hand is at the heart. And then turn your left toes to the long left edge of the mat. Good, so we should be gripping on left half. Not yet, there we go. And from here, bend at the waist, lean directly forward, as in toward back door. You could pause at the halfway point. You could drop left fingers to floor. You could even start to sink more weight to mirror, hopping your left foot and your left hand another foot forward. It just depends on how deep you want to take it. If you did sink weight forward and you want to drop both hands down, that is an option. Just depends on what feels good. Take another huge breath. Let it flow in, out. We're going to prepare to come back up. So first, take your weight over standing leg. Get both hands on for safety. Left knee bends like a spring, and then that spring jumps and pops us right back up. Face directly forward. This one we do want to be covered up to glute. So fabric's not there, get it all the way up there. Swivel the foot in like a pigeon pose. Dive both shoulders to the front. That shoulders going forward is what locks us in place so we won't slip out. So now left foot slides to back of mat. Get to the point where ball of foot is still touching the floor and then rock forward to get into toe stretch. You can stay in toe stretch or go to quad stretch. Left hand, trying to grab for left ankle. It can be just left hand. Some people can get the right hand there too, but it can be a little bit too much with just with the fabric that's coming around. So only do what you can with your grip. If you don't feel the quad stretch, by the way, pull the knee backwards a little bit. Sometimes we're pretty open with our quads and we don't really feel it. Okay, this is another spot you can stay a little longer or come to lotus. Lotus would be grabbing that left foot in front. Sometimes the knees and the hips are tight, so you just need to keep a low grip. Sometimes the heel comes up onto the other shin. Sometimes friction's such that it will slip off if you let go, but occasionally hands to heart is a possibility. Good. Imagine we're releasing all sorts of energies, physical energies, emotional energies. Let's see if we can deepen the breath for about 3 more huge cycles. As we drop left foot back to floor, some of the fabric will start to slide from the hip area further down closer to the knee. So the further you get to knee, the deeper the hips will release down like a pigeon pose. So don't feel like you have to go super far. But if you do want to go quite deep, go all the way to the knee. Basically, you have control over how much you're giving. And 2 more huge breaths. Let them flow in and out. 1 more. Okay, we have to unwind to get into second leg. So hop that left foot underneath our body. You don't want to fall out. So rise up first. Use some of the grip. Unwind the leg. Eventually, that right leg slips out. If you need to wave fabric back out again, that's fine. Eventually, left leg is going to be the one that comes inside. Once we're in, make sure you're not too far behind plumb line. It's not tilting everything back toward you. It should look as if it's just kind of drooping directly down. So once you're set up, sooner or later, no rush, take your time. You'll eventually have both arms inside, elbows pushing out to lift the leg up to us. And if you wanted more, splits sinking more weight to mirror would be a possibility. Only if you still need more. It's pretty deep as is. More breaths, flow into belly and out. 1 more. Good. As torso starts to rise back up, leave the right hand. Left hand circles to sky. Just all the way to the back wall. I like to continue to push my right arm into the fabric as much as I can and see if I can open up that left shoulder from the push. More inhale. Exhale, start to return. Both hands will go on right side. Left hand is high, right hand is at the heart. Bring your right toes to the right long edge of mat. Start to bend at the waist, lean directly forward. Maybe you pause at the halfway point. Maybe you get to the point, dropping right fingers to floor. Feel what feels right on this side. Even hand to shin is a good kind of halfway level. If you're at floor, maybe hop the hand another foot closer to mirror. Up to you. More huge breath flows in, out. If weight went forward at all, take it back over standing leg. Right hand grabs on. Soft bend of right knee to spring you up. As we're facing back forward, we're covering up to glute and swiveling that left knee out, so it's like a pigeon pose. Once you got that set up, dive both shoulders into the middle. Toe stretch, slide the right foot back. Keep the ball of foot in contact with ground, but then you're rocking forward to stretch out the fascia on the bottom of the foot. You could stay in toe stretch. You could go to quad stretch, right hand to right ankle behind your back. And then the knee gets pulled backwards to the point that feels really good. A nice inhale. Exhale. You could stay in quad stretch or maybe go to lotus. Trying to grab onto the right ankle in front. You could stay low. You could go medium. You could go to stack. Maybe hands to heart if the friction is there. How is the breath flowing still? More beautiful cycles. As we prepare to drop right foot back, slide it toward a straight angle behind you. If this is enough for the hip, you can stay. If you want more, slide the fabric down past the hip toward the knee again, any amount. So deeper toward knee allows the glutes and the hips to just drop down even lower. So don't feel like you have to go that far. Huge inhale. Exhale. That right foot hops right underneath us. Gently rise up. Unwind the shoulders, make sure you have balance, taking the leg out. And let's head to a last straddleback inversion. Know that you can always go to the diaper wrap inversion that we did the very first one of class, if you prefer. But we would be standing in front of fabric, sliding the palms to press fabric close to sacrum. Good. One foot steps back. Lean back to take all the slack out. Tiptoe forward until you're back under plumb line, and then hands up, knees wide. Wrapping ankles, and then releasing hands to floor. Swinging it's not awful, it's just an indication you are not quite under plumb line, so sometimes that's a conscious choice. And other times it's like, I just didn't realize why I'm swinging. So feel free to play with it. Any variations that you want to play with here, go right ahead. So some of us might be focusing on some of the upper body stuff, like a twist, walking hands to opposing ends of mat. Some of us might be doing crunches. Maybe there's a little bit more activity that needs to happen. Some of us might be doing handstand or chandelier. There's all sorts of goodies that we can play with here. I'll give you guys sufficient time to play with whatever your body is asking. That's the trick. That's the hard part. That's the part that takes a lot. So first of all, currently you've got fingers here. The hard part about all the fingers is that as soon as you try to get it stuck, your fingers will be like unable to get out. And so getting the fingers out would slip it. So first of all, flip it so it's just the thumb. And then the next thing I do, I kind of am like pushing my wrist into it to get it kind of locked. So my palm is keeping it there. And then it's really a core thing. So as I start to lean back and take the slack out, I have to keep my core engaged forward. And I'm keeping the core tight as I'm tiptoeing forward. And then it's kind of a sudden movement, hands up, knees wide. That's okay. Try the diaper wrap again. That one gets you used to just the motion of getting the legs wrapped. And that part I think is the biggest fear part, so. Yeah, it's a lot of core, so maybe it's just one of those build up the core a little bit more. So we're getting to the point where about half and half. Half of us are out, half of us are still inverting. This is the last inversion of the day, so take as long as you want for this inversion. Don't feel rushed out. Those that are getting, happy or heads kind of back to this flipped up orientation, I'll offer one last shoulder stretch before we head inside. So this would be standing to the front of the fabric, waving it out. So mirror side front. And then when you get your thumbs on the front end, slip your elbows inside. Yeah, lean back for a moment. Give your head some time to be flipped back up. So use the fabric. Okay, once you've got elbows in, walk forward. Either take an arch of the heart forward, like a back bend, or a lunge. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Whatever's opening pecs, shoulders, chest. When you've taken a little bit of time on one side, feel free to pause, maybe do a head circle, and then switch. Good, and those that did the shoulder stretch, keep your thumbs attached as you are able to grab about half the fabric from there and head right into Shavasana. Again, not a rush for those upside down. It's your last one of the day, so take the time that you want until you're eventually ready for your Shavasana. Sooner or later, no pressure, no rush. Settling at your rate that allows you deep release. Not a rush for those that are getting settled toward Shavasana, but taking in that quality of depth, deep, that we're working on today, at least for a couple of breaths, see how deep the breath can flow. Feel how that's refreshing. Like filling up that water bottle and getting a chance to shake it out before we dump it out. And in that process, we've released some of the gunk from our system with that exhale. Deep inhales. How deep into belly can we breathe? How much can we allow side ribs to expand out? That can be here for several more minutes. So just allow that breath to be deep and full. Here we'll begin to deepen our inhales, our exhales. Start to introduce little movements back to the body, fingers and toes, ankles and wrists, stretching out in ways that feel really useful. Sometimes I'll take some of those initial stretches, wiggling shoulders left and right. Sometimes I'll take a fetal position, keep the body long, but roll onto one hip. From there, you can curl in like a tight little ball, arc the spine all the way back. Oftentimes I'll do 3 or 4 rounds to one side, and then I'll switch 3 or 4 to the other side. Just helping things to open up nicely. Take the time you need to return back to body, back to presence. When you've returned, allow yourself to begin making your way back up to a comfortable seated place. Hands come to the heart. We return full circle back to our intention, that intention of deep release. Feel in your physical body what that experience is like. Feel the hips, feel the hamstrings, feel the shoulders and the back. With this quality of release. And what is it in my life that's preventing this quality from being here a little bit more often? It's like that water bottle. What keeps on getting put back into the bottle after I've tried to swish it out so many times? Is there anything we can do to prevent that? Or is it just simply the quality of rinsing it out a few more times until some of the residual past stuff has gotten a chance to clear out? So with all these qualities, with this type of deep release to lead us on, let's wrap up the time we shared together with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. Om. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.